Okay, good morning, teacher and classmate. We are going to talk about a tradition. What is tradition? Tradition in society are important because they transmit and share values, stories, and words from one generation to generation. Okay, today, tradition consists of the transmission of customs, objects, songs, ideology, doctrines, rights, relations, beliefs, and more. On the other hand, these are the patterns of coexistence that a community considers worthy of being transmitted and maintained for generation to generation. Years ago, tradition was considered to be all those cultural trends that, in situation of change, must continue to be preserved, transmitting, conserved, and not lost to be passed on to the next generation as something special. In other words, tradition was a way of life as symbols, stories, and memories that gave one body identity and status. Tradition are very important because they transmit shared values, stories, and goals from one generation to next. They motivate societies to create and share a collective identity, which is the turn serves to shape individual identities. It should be emphasized that tradition consists of the transmission of customs, objects, thrones, ideology, doctrines, race, religion, beliefs, and more. Okay, tradition in Japan, clothing. With the Japanese tradition, we think the most characteristic is clothing. I talk about the kimono and the yukata. For those who do not know, who do know, kimono literally means something to wear. Although nowadays its meaning has been related to traditional Japanese clothing. We would talk a lot about their customs that although their traditional clothing are built in use by the Japanese. It is uncommon to see couples or in groups walking around downtown Tokyo dressed in their kimonos or yukatas, depending on the context of the time year. Thank you, teacher, for your attention.